Hi, I'm Michael Giovine. I'm the director of the Museum of Anthropology and Archaeology, also professor of anthropology here at Westchester, where I actually specialize, among other things, in the study of Catholic saints, cults, and pilgrimage. So I was really pleased that we were able to partner with the Archdiocese of Philadelphia to highlight among the religious artifacts here the life story of St. Katharine Drexel. St. Katharine Drexel, you can't really talk about Philadelphia without talking about the Drexel family, which is one of the biggest philanthropists and wealthiest families in Philadelphia in the 1800s. St. Katharine Drexel was related to the founders of Drexel University, for example. Her father was a philanthropist in his own right, and she grew up, though wealthy, really understanding that it was important to give back to the community and to support those who were less fortunate than she was. And so in the late 1800s, she was born in 1858, by 1891 she had sold all of her inheritance and founded the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, SPS, which was an order that was particularly known for ministering to the educational needs of both Native Americans and African Americans. She founded the first Catholic HBCU, historically black university, down in Louisiana, Xavier University. Her sisters were in missions throughout the United States with Native Americans, founding schools for Native Americans. And right here in Philadelphia, where she's from, she founded a number of schools, such as the Select School of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament, the flagship school, that ministered to the African American community. What was really important about this was that they say, even in this prospectus here, that the point was not to missionize, was not to convert, but really to administer to the needs and the educations of those of minority groups and those less fortunate. We're also really have a really interesting collection of some of the artifacts that have to deal with St. Katharine Drexel being declared Philadelphia's first, it's America's second saint, American-born saint, and Philadelphia's first Philadelphia-born saint as well. We have a newspaper clipping from the year 2000 when she was canonized, stating she's a Philadelphian among saints. But we also have, and I think this is of particular importance, a very important collection of second-class relics. So relics, of course, in the Catholic Church are those artifacts that are either body parts or pieces that were of articles of clothing and things like that were touched by the body of a saint. And Catholics and others, and Orthodox Christians, believe that they have sacred powers that would be at least conducive to prayer, if not helping to give graces to people. And so we have her habit cincture, which is that cord that is wrapped around her body like a belt, and it has, just like the Franciscans, when she founded her order, she did the 3 knots like a Franciscan, like St. Francis, to represent different her vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Poverty was so important that for St. Katharine, who was born very wealthy, that even in the dolls about her, you see that there's a shoe that's broken, and that's not by accident, that's on purpose. She always wore her shoes out and all of her other clothing out until they weren't able to be worn anymore, as a sign of poverty and frugality. And another really interesting artifact as well that she used a little bit, not as much as her shoes and her cincture, was this rosary that was gifted to her by a devotee from the Holy Land. And this is something extraordinary that I've never seen before, that it's actually made entirely of olive pits. And so olive trees in general are very symbolic in the Catholic faith, because they represent not only longevity. Olive trees take they live for a very long time, but they only bear fruit after about 20 or 30 years of their growth. So it's something that you're always planting for the next generation. So it's about thinking of the future and thinking of longevity. But even these olive pits, I think, really symbolize this frugality, right? You're not going to even throw away the pits of the olives. You're going to turn them into something sacred. So thank you again to the Archdiocese of Philadelphia for loaning us these precious relics and artifacts.